What's up, Beam Tribe? Welcome back to part 2 of how to start a mindfulness practice. Today I'm going to go over 4 common challenges that you'll face when you're meditating. The first one is it won't always feel great. Sometimes it'll feel very mechanical. And the point here is to understand it's not about the reward of meditation. It's about the effort that you're putting in. And to recognize that you're doing this for yourself, and that's great, but you'll make huge leaps and bounds in your progress in your practice if you realize that it's not just for your own self-liberation. It's so that you can be liberated to better serve others. So you're doing this for yourself, and you're also doing this for the people you care about and for even the people that you don't know. So it's not about the reward, it's about the effort in it. So that's going to be important to keep in mind during that first challenge that you might get. The second thing is going to be what's called the waterfall of thought. And this is where you're being mindful, you're paying attention to the present experience, and you're noticing thoughts more and more and more and more. There's a really good example from a Tibetan Buddhist monk. His name is Mingyur Rinpoche. And he uses a river as an example. And so imagine there's a river, that's your flow of experience. A storm has just come by, the sediment's lifted, it's very dark, very murky, you can't see anything. That's what it's like when you're not practicing mindfulness. When you are practicing mindfulness, the sediment has settled, you're able to see the plants, the fish, the different sea creatures, the rocks, the bottom riverbed. You're able to notice all of that. And those are like your thoughts. So when you're paying mindful present experience, then you're able to see all of those different things in your moment-to-moment experience. So even though it might seem like you're not doing well, that's actually a sign that you are making progress and that you're doing really well in your mindfulness practice because you're noticing more things. Those thoughts were all there, you just didn't notice them previously. So that's a good thing and one of the challenges that you can overcome when you're in this practice. The third thing is going to be noticing when you're lost in an emotion, because we want to be with the experience, not lost in it. This can be thoughts, this can be emotions, this can be states of mind, right? Our mood. So think about it like this. Here's an example. You're feeling anxious, you're feeling stressed, and you don't notice it. That's you being lost in that experience. Being with it, going back to that river example, is you're sitting on the riverbank. If you can know the experience, if you can be aware of it, if you say, okay, I'm aware that I'm experiencing anxiety, well, you're not lost in it, you're with it, right? So it doesn't have that control over you because there's not an immediate association with it. This can also be applied to positive experience as well, which in my opinion can be even harder to notice when someone is totally lost in them. An example is maybe you're doing some type of meditation practice on, you're finding the illusory self and you're paying attention and you have this great recognition about the self and you feel really blissful, and then you start going, well, okay, here's all these thoughts that I'm having, this is great, but then you don't recognize that you are having thoughts and that you're having an experience, and again you're lost in thought and you're lost in your emotions, just in a different way. So always be mindful, and you can kind of like label things. Okay, is this a thought, is this an emotion, is this a mood? Even with thoughts you can go, is this a imagining, is this remembering, is this planning? So labeling and always kind of like going back to ask yourself, am I with or am I in the emotion? And if you know it, if you understand it, if you are aware of it, you're with it, not lost in it. So that's going to be a third challenge. And then the fourth one is going to be non-judgmentally. And in the previous video, you'll notice that I'll have said meditation or mindfulness or being aware is paying attention to the present moment on purpose, non-judgmentally. And the non-judgmentally is key. To have an awareness of the present moment, think of it like a bird. It's got 2 wings. One is awareness of the present moment, a knowing, and then the second piece is going to be non-judgmentally, or in a lot of meditation communities, they'll call it loving kindness. And if you are extremely judgmental of the experience, oh, I can't believe that I'm having that experience, or how could I do that? You're judging the experience, and that's just a separate example of being lost in, not with the emotion. So you'll want to make sure that you're able to take a step back and then be non-judgmental of the experience. A really good way to work through this is to lead with curiosity, using an acronym called RAIN, which is recognize, accept, investigate, and then note. Is going to be you recognize the experience, you accept everything non-judgmentally, you investigate and lead with curiosity, which is a joyful, more open feeling, and then you're able to pay attention to the context of the experience. And that's going to help you with that non-judgmental aspect. So working through those 4 challenges, and there's many more, but working through those 4 challenges, you'll be able to continually improve your mindfulness meditation practice. So good luck.